If you're applying for US Masters, you might have many questions. And the reason is this is actually a complex and tedious task. This video is kind of a bird's eye view to tell you what to expect if you're working on this journey. And my goal is to guide you through this process. This video is based on my book, Indian Student's Guide to US Universities, which is very well regarded in many different countries and also provides a perspective from Indian students' point of view. And in this first video, we are looking at like mostly the first chapter of this book. One of the most important thing for you to consider before you start kind of everything else is to choose the right universities. Choosing the right universities actually will tell you where you lie, uh, what is your student profile according to you. It is based on your GPA, test scores, ranking of different universities. So you know in this entire ladder, where do you think yourself? Also, one thing to consider is it's not a good idea always to target the top universities. Try to target a mixed bag. Why I'm saying this is that, for example, if you always target the top universities which are very competitive, you may end up in a situation where you may not get even one of the acceptance. Although it's sad, but universities are very competitive once you go up the ladder. You have to remember that you're competing with everyone, the best students from China, from the Europe, from kind of Middle East, including the North Americans as well. So when you look at this entire competition, try to target a mixed bag. Since this is an introductory video, we'll follow up with more videos to give more deeper insights into how you can target a mixed bag of universities. But a good idea is you look at overall your entire profile and try to find universities which are top tier, which you think, according to you, some universities which you feel that you have a very good chance to get in, some universities which you feel are safe schools. These are the universities you are sure that you will get in. So in a way, after your application cycle, you will have multiple acceptances. So choosing the right universities is one of the most fundamental first step. Once you have done this, what next? Often many universities waive tests, some universities do not. So prepare for the standardized test very early on, such as GRE and TOEFL. You have to satisfy English requirements for many of the schools. So majority of the US top universities would not waive English requirements for Indian applicants. Unfortunately, for many countries they do, but for India, most of them do not. So you have to kind of consider carefully applying for TOEFL and all very early on. TOEFL is a qualifying criteria, so you have to meet the minimum bar. Whereas the GRE kind of helps you to rank. Many schools also have shared their GRE scores in the past. So that gives you an idea also where does the ranking of universities lies versus your profile. Give yourself enough time so you can kind of attempt multiple, like two, three, and so on. Generally, majority of the students attempt once in their life GRE and they're satisfied with it. If you're one of those where in the first attempt you could not kind of get 100% of your effort done, it's fine to apply twice. So give yourself enough time. There are also some category of students who probably are trying to do extra effort here, especially in the GRE. The reason being that either they miss out in the GPA or they miss out in their undergrad school being very highly ranked. In these students, my often advice is to do that extra effort so you can actually show to the admission committee that when considered on a standardized test, you're lying very much above. After your tests and all are done, then comes the interesting stuff in SOP and resume. You have to understand that every SOP is unique. So SOP is telling your story from your perspective. You have to be honest here. You cannot always kind of put it in the SOP, you're the best, you have done so much work, but your resume and everything else are not lining according to that, or your undergrad university is not aligning according to that. So you have to be honest because the admission committee is reviewing hundreds of SOPs kind of thing. So they have a very good idea what is fake, what is real. Further, SOP and resumes are strengthened by your recommenders. So if your recommenders are not pointing to the same story which you are trying to sell in your SOP and resume, it kind of results in the breach of trust. So you have to tell your story from your perspective. And this is also an important piece where you get a chance to talk about yourself. You can tell about what happened in these projects, why they were harder for you, what was the learning experience. And if a project is very important, that's part of your SOP, it should also come up in your resume very high as well. So in a way, you have to connect all of these things together. Further, this is also time where you can talk and address your shortcomings. Many universities have SOP and resume guidelines. So finding your universities first and then doing this later is kind of what helps you a lot. So you know that you are going to target say 6 schools. You need SOPs, a baseline SOP, and then for based on different school requirements, you will polish it. Based on different school programs you are trying to apply into, you will polish it further and modify it. There are some interesting professors in different universities which like your work or which whose work you like. So this is where a point where you can actually polish SOP for a particular school. Further, the most important part is recommenders. Recommenders are like third party certifiers for your work. They're like certifying that yes, you did good work. So, recommenders are your mentors. They give a personal touch that they know you. Be very careful in choosing recommenders. You want to make sure that someone who knows you and also talk positive about you in your profile. Further, if there are some projects which are coming very high in your SOP and resume, you should ideally choose recommenders who know about your projects and can also vouch for you. They can be your professors, past employers, project supervisors, and so on. Uh, Most of the time when you're applying for university, university do require, or it's a general theme that you take at least one of the recommender from your undergrad professor. So somebody who knows you through your education life cycle. If you're in industry, have been working for some years, it's fine to have your past employers or your current employers and managers to be recommenders, but it's always good to have one recommender as a professor. Finally, when all of these things are combined, a complete application should have where SOP and resumes are aligning with each other. A statement of purpose is telling your perspective, challenges, bottlenecks for the projects, your achievements, your goals. It is outlining your vision for your future. And your resume is kind of also talking about those projects in a different perspective. It's providing a more distilled view, a single page or a double page view of it. Further, recommendations are kind of third party certifications of what your SOP and resume are going to talk about. Since this is an overview, each of these actually requires a good amount of careful tuning when you're creating your application. Hence, we will talk more about it in the future. Finally, you can know more about my books and more details on the blogs by following simplemindschool.com, or you can email me at simplemindschool@gmail.com. This is an effort to guide students when they're trying to apply to the top tier universities. My goal is often that the students should try to be the best of the best universities and should not end up in a university in the US where they're not getting the best exposure according to their profile. We try to answer most of your queries on a first come, first serve basis and also try to provide personalized application support as much as possible. Hope you are having a wonderful time. I'll see you in another video.